My name's Kaylin, and this is Nancy.
Hi, Kaylin. I understand you have some questions for me.
Yes, I do.
Don't make them too hard.
My first question for you is, where did you grow up?
I lived the first 11 years of my life in St. Catharines. From St. Catharines, my family moved to North Pelham. After graduating high school, I lived in North York, the west end of Toronto, Scarborough, and Ajax. 8 years ago, Richard and I moved back to Pelham.
You lived in a lot of different places.
I did, but I like this place the best.
Then another question is, what was your family like growing up?
Well, I'm the fifth child in a family of 10 kids. There were 7 boys and 3 girls. I share the middle child position with a younger brother. I had a lot of responsibility as the oldest girl with 5 younger siblings. My mother was 16, almost 17, and my father was 19 when they were married. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and my father worked in a factory. Money was really tight. My mother was raised in an Anglican church, and my father was raised in a Baptist church, but neither of them attended church. But they did send me and my siblings to Sunday school and raised us with Christian values. We had a pretty strict upbringing, and my mother said prayers with us at bedtime. She read her Bible faithfully every night. And my father's faith became more evident to me as he grew older. Almost all of my siblings have been promoted to grandparents, and one sister is a great-grandmother. 3 babies have been born this year, with another 2 babies on the way. I haven't counted lately, but I think there's probably close to 100 people in our family now.
You have a lot of people in your family. And also, what was what was your brother's name that you shared the middle child with?
Todd. And Todd's the same one that used to attend this church.
Cool. My next question is, can you tell us a bit about how you came to faith in Jesus?
The first Sunday school I attended was at a Gospel Hall church. It was a fundamentalist Pentecostal Christian denomination that had its own bus and picked us up every Sunday morning. I don't know when I was first introduced to Jesus or who first introduced me. From as far back as I can remember, I knew that Jesus loved me and that he lived in my heart. I remember Bible stories and songs. Our parents took us out of the church when a younger brother was really scared that he was going to hell. The United Church, which we then attended, was a lot less scary. As well as Sunday school, I had joined the children's midweek group, which I especially enjoyed the crafts.
What churches did you go to before Pelham Friends?
Before Pelham Friends, well, after the Gospel Hall Church and the United Church, when we moved to North Pelham, we attended Sunday school at a Presbyterian church in North Pelham. On occasion, I attended church service with a friend. When there were no Sunday school classes for my age group, I became a teacher for the primary class. I was young, inexperienced, with no knowledge, and without curriculum. The North Pelham Church had a youth group which met mainly for socializing. I met Richard when the band he was in played at one of the parties that we had. Shortly after that, we started dating. Richard had attended Sunday school as a young child, but when I met him, he had no church connection. Very few of my high school friends attended church. Richard graduated from high school a year before me and moved to North York. to attend college there. After graduating high school, I also moved to North York and attended the same college. This was my first experience with multiculturalism, people from every tribe and nation. I lived with a Jewish family in a very Jewish area. It was nothing like the bubble we live in here in Pelham. Richard and I were married and moved to the west end of Toronto. We had a daughter, Sandra, and a son, Ryan. We purchased our first home in a new housing development in Northeast Scarborough. From the time I graduated high school until this time, I had no church connection. I know that seems like a simple thing to do, but for me it was difficult to walk by myself or with my kids into a church full of strangers. Thankfully, I am never alone, and that God had a better plan. The Roman Catholic, Anglican, United, and Presbyterian churches that were starting new congregations in this development had just formed a committee which went into the community with information about the new churches. When someone from the committee knocked on my door, I heard about the Presbyterian congregation and was asked if I had any needs that the church or minister could help me with. The most important thing for me at this time, I thought, was to have my kids baptized. The minister called and set up a visitation at my home, which was met with a little resistance from Richard. The date was set for the baptism, and I and the kids began attending worship service. We met in a public school since the church building was still in the planning stages. I had quickly become best friends with a deaconess of this church. She asked me to help her write a play for the youth group to perform at church. On one occasion, as we were laughing and having a great time working on the script, Richard walked in, curious to know what was so funny. He ended up helping with the script. On the day of the performance, Richard came to watch. We attended church as a family for almost 10 years after that. It was the church where my kids learned about Jesus. I attended Bible studies, helped with VBS, and led a midweek children's group. Richard helped lead the youth group and on occasion played his guitar at worship. We had the best potlucks, and it's where I discovered my love for Caribbean food, the culture, and the people. The minister and his wife were wonderful influences on me and my faith journey. We moved to Ajax and visited a church a few times, but found very little attraction there. Richard had no desire to go back to church at this point. So once again, I found myself on a break from church. I read my Bible faithfully and regularly and had a relationship with God, but something big was lacking. It took me a long time, but I did find my way to another Presbyterian church. This ended up being where I feel I grew the most in my faith and where I had the greatest circle of friends and influences. It was also where I saw the most negative and evil situations. It was a divided church. I remember sitting through sermons with gut-wrenching feelings in my stomach. Something was very wrong. There were retired ministers and other theological members in this congregation, and each Sunday I would walk in asking myself, how could they sit there? How could they just listen to this? However, I did not ask myself how I could just sit there. I believe now that this was a great learning experience for me and that God kept me there and protected me. I attended Bible studies, workshops, Alpha courses, taught Sunday school, helped with VBS, served on committees, and served as an elder. I also took part in 6 mission trips to Guatemala. We had stayed in the Toronto area for employment reasons and had always planned on moving back home to Pelham. It took 40 years to realize this dream. I decided, or someone decided for me, that I was not going to a Presbyterian church. It was time for a change.
How did you come to Pelham Friends?
One day I drove by Friends and thought I should go there. Terry Prevost and his family attended the Presbyterian Church in North Pelham at the same time as me. When they left to join Friends, they took my younger brother with them. I knew Friends was a vibrant Bible teaching church with great programs and learning opportunities. I was new to this area and needed friends. Out on my walks, I would often see this lady working in the front yard. We greeted each other, and one day, when I commented on how hard she is always working in her yard, she told me she was behind in her scrapbooking because of all the yard work she had to do. Little did I know, I found a friend, but I didn't know it until I went to Friends. It took me 8 months to walk into Friends on a Sunday morning, 20 minutes late for service. At the end of the service, as I was about to leave there, I was face to face with Marjorie Nichols. "What are you doing here?" was the first question she asked. When I told her my brother used to attend Friends and who I was, she introduced me as Todd's sister to Sharon Visbulis. Sharon told me that she had worked with my sister-in-law at the Welland Hospital. The introductions continued. I felt comfortable sitting in the service, and I felt welcomed as I was about to leave. In time, I was reconnected to Dar and Terry. Marilyn Ozog told me that she had taught my siblings, some nieces and nephews. I believe that being here was orchestrated by God, that he has led me all along, and I don't know why I was so often so slow and hesitant.
Nancy, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Now, you are all being written into my story, and I'm being written into yours as God's amazing plan for us unfolds. I'm thankful to share this part of our journey together.
I have one more question, and this isn't on the paper, but did you have any pets growing up, and what were their names, if you did have any?
Well, when we lived in St. Catharines, I remember my first memory of any pet was a dog, Mandy. Really cute little puppy dog. Yeah. When we moved to the farm, we had chickens and geese and ducks and a cow named Hilda, named after my grandma. And we had a horse named Tyler and another horse named Vicky. And, we had pigs, Mert and Gert and Sam.
Why was the cow named after your grandma?
That was my father's idea. It was his mother's mother.
That's a very funny, idea to
I
name
know.
your cow after your grandma.
I know. Sometimes at night, we would lay in bed and we'd go, "Good night, Hilda."
Well, I don't have any more questions, so